Coming into the courtroom, the disgraced music mogul, Diddy looked a little rough around the edges compared to how he usually has been looking in these court appearances.
Sean Diddy Combs remains behind bars tonight after losing an appeal of a ruling denying him bail. The music mogul now awaiting trial on federal and racketeering conspiracy charges that carry a sentence of up to life.
The trial set for May 5th is on, and if there are going to be any additional charges, prosecutors today did not tip their hand, only telling the judge that any additional charges that are brought would not involve a lot of discussion.
Music mogul Sean Diddy Combs has been held at Brooklyn's Metropolitan Detention Center since his arrest on September 16, 2024, facing serious charges.
Guess what got reported about Sean Diddy Combs today after, they saw him in court?
What?
They said he's falling apart. Look at this. He's astonishingly thinner and grayer at new court hearing.
Damn, stress will do that.
I think what you're looking at is a person who has now had to accept the fact that his life's over, and he's a level of terror and depression that is shrinking him.
Combs was arrested on Monday, months after federal agents raided his homes. He also faces several civil lawsuits accusing him of over the past few decades.
In the past 3 months, reports have highlighted significant changes in Sean Diddy Combs' physical appearance and mental state, reflecting the profound impact of his imprisonment.
Music mogul Sean Diddy Combs back behind bars, a magistrate judge denying him bail, saying that there were no conditions that she could conceive of that would make her confident that he would appear again for other court appearances. The judge saying, "My concern is this is a crime that happens behind closed doors." Diddy's lawyers had argued that he had made good faith efforts by showing up in New York, ready to surrender to face these charges, but prosecutors said that he could not be trusted, that he has a history of trying to intimidate witnesses, including some who are going to be witnesses in this.
He used to eat delicious things like duck and chicken, but now it's downgraded to some potatoes. Not a very appetizing meal that he had last night. And by the way, if you've heard of MDC Brooklyn, this detention center, it's probably because R. Kelly has stayed there, Fetty Wap has stayed there, Michael Cohen, Allison Mack, and Ghislaine Maxwell. A lot of famous people have gone here before. Really, really rough, we're told.
Eyewitnesses at recent court hearings report that Combs appears noticeably thinner and grayer. Journalist Elizabeth Milner noted his leaner physique and graying hair, commenting that detention is beginning to take its toll.
Mom also wasn't in court today, so when Diddy came inside, it was still that standard issued MDC jumpsuit. He's wearing khaki. From that video of, I think that was obtained by Daily Mail back in September, of Diddy playing hacky sack in Central Park, to now he appeared just astonishingly thinner, which you can expect to be inside a federal detention center for a couple months now. A lot different from the luxury lifestyle that he was living before, but he appeared very noticeably thinner, and maybe being locked up in detention is starting to wear on him. He appeared grayer a little bit as well.
Reports from Sean Diddy Combs' recent court appearance describe a more subdued environment compared to earlier sessions. With fewer journalists present and less media coverage, the shift may indicate waning public interest or a focus on the upcoming trial.
I got to the courthouse got inside the courthouse, I should say, about 15 minutes before 1 p.m. That shows you how early I was in there. And I was actually surprised to see less amount of journalists there kind of waiting for this hearing to get started. And so, comparing that to last hearing where it was just a ton of journalists just waiting to get inside that courtroom, this time was completely different, in that it was probably about less than 20 journalists altogether. So when we were all kind of ushered up into the 15th floor this time, as opposed to the top floor like the last hearing, it was a lot smaller court.
Despite Diddy's reputation for strong familial ties, only 2 of his children attended the hearing. Their presence appeared to lift his morale during this emotionally challenging time. Sources close to the family reveal his children are struggling with the stress of his legal troubles but continue to offer their support.
It was a lot smaller bunch than it was the last time. So last time you're having all of Diddy's children, except with the exception of Love, who is just a 2-year-old child, so she wasn't at court. But you had all of Diddy's children there except Love. But this time around, you just had Justin Combs and Christian Combs, meaning that there was no Quincy there today. Delilah and Jesse weren't there. Chance wasn't there, and the caretakers of his younger children who aren't of age just yet, they were not present inside the courtroom as well today.
Now, he won't be going home for the holidays. He's been denied bail 3 times. That didn't stop him from hugging every single member of his legal team. Now, let me show you some of the video from today. His son, Christian Combs, who he's very close to and actually created music and some hit songs with, known professionally as King Combs, was once again at the federal court to support his dad, flying in from Los Angeles to let his father know he was still in his corner and to show everyone that he was standing by him.
Adjusting to life behind bars has been difficult for Combs, who is used to a life of luxury. Reports suggest he had a meltdown during Christmas, struggling to cope with spending the festive season in prison.
Diddy's huge prison meltdown revealed as rapper remains in hellhole jail. They're saying that Sean Diddy Combs had a festive meltdown in a notorious hellhole prison because he couldn't believe he was still behind bars there, it was claimed. A panicked Diddy reportedly pleaded with guards to be taken to a prison hospital for observation, claiming he thought he was having a breakdown on Thursday. The guards at Brooklyn's Metropolitan Detention Center refused his request, according to a source close to the rapper who was locked up in September.
Diddy is currently held at Brooklyn's Metropolitan Detention Center (MDC), the same facility where R. Kelly was previously detained. The jail is notorious for its harsh and inhumane conditions.
Diddy Combs has been denied bail in connection with the abuse and trafficking charges he faces. And as Les Trent reports, the music mogul who once traveled by private jet to all those mansions is now in a jail that is notorious for its bad living conditions.
Music mogul Sean Diddy Combs spent his first night behind bars inside a facility that is being called Hell on Earth. The Metropolitan Detention Center in Brooklyn is notorious for its appalling living conditions and rampant violence. How bad is it inside this federal lockup? There have been 2 murders, 4 suicides, and numerous stabbings and lockdowns in recent years. It's so out of control inside that 4 federal judges are reportedly refusing to send any more prisoners here. Donald Trump's former fixer, Michael Cohen, spent a harrowing year in federal custody. He says for someone used to a life of luxury like Diddy, prison life is a severe shock.
You have a desk, you have a plastic chair, you have your bed with a 1.5-inch mattress, no pillow, and you also have a locker. So you basically have 3 feet by 5 feet to move around. So you have a basic 15 square feet. It is a horrible.
Inmates at Brooklyn's MDC have reported rampant violence, self-harm, severe understaffing, and inadequate medical care. The facility, described as hell on earth, suffers from unsanitary conditions, including cockroach-infested food, moldy showers, and broken light fixtures. Combs reportedly requested hospital care during an episode of extreme emotional and physical distress, but prison authorities denied the request, citing insufficient criteria for external treatment. His legal team criticized the decision, highlighting the harsh conditions and lack of proper care in detention.
I think because of everything that's going on, everything that's coming out, that, again, the reality is setting in that I actually may not be getting up out of here. It's really starting to hit it. You know, with all the trying to make bails and all this stuff, and then maybe he caught wind of what's going on with Jay-Z and how Jay-Z is willing to throw him under the bus to get his name separated from him. So all of that is just coming in here real fast. Yeah,
So Diddy had a whole meltdown over the holiday and federal holding because he couldn't believe that he had to spend Christmas locked up even though he's facing all of these charges. According to reports from employees inside the Metropolitan Detention Center, Diddy had a meltdown over Christmas because he couldn't believe that after offering $50 million and hiring the best lawyers that money could buy, that he would still be stuck in there for Christmas. Only some rich yak-off like Diddy could think that he could actually buy his way out of a situation like this. In fact, he was crying and sobbing so bad that he asked to go to medical or be taken to the hospital, and they told him, nah, deal with it. This might sound a little harsh to anybody who's never been incarcerated, but trust me when I say they do not care about your mental well-being when you are incarcerated. Especially if you think you're special or that you've got something coming. Holy crap, they hate that in there. Get used to it, Diddy. You're gonna spend a whole lot more Christmases behind bars.
Combs has reportedly expressed frustration over the attention fellow inmate Luigi Manon receives, feeling overshadowed and unhappy about Manon's newfound notoriety.
Old Luigi. He may have something to talk about with old Sean P. Diddy do at Combs, because apparently old Diddy is throwing tantrums about the attention that his fellow inmate, Luigi Mangione, has taken from inside the New York City lockup. And it has put Luigi Mangione on the disgraced rapper's bad or naughty list. Can you believe it? So when Sean P. Diddy Combs was arrested on trafficking charges back in September, he was the most famous prisoner at the Metropolitan Detention Center there in Brooklyn. Obviously, there's been lots of people that have been at that facility, but at the time, he was the big dog on campus, apparently. But after Mangione was arrested and for allegedly gunning down the United Healthcare CEO Brian Thompson in December, he was booked into the same facility as old P. Diddy Do It.
Combs is housed in MDC's low-security 4 North Unit, sharing space with about 20 inmates, including Sam Bankman-Fried. This unit provides more freedom and amenities, such as games and dormitory-style housing, compared to general population areas. However, concerns have been raised about privacy and potential misconduct due to its proximity to female prisoners on the floor below.
Sean Combs is living in the same unit of like a dorm Brooklyn jail.
I can confirm this. You didn't say the other.
Yeah, it's Sam Bankman-Fried.
Yeah.
You were over there or something? Or
I'm just saying I know.
You have friends that are incarcerated?
When you know, you know.
Yeah, you're right.
The MCC.
Wow.
They re-sleeping. No.
They're in this dormitory style thing.
No, I know. I've seen it. I visited once at LA jail. Scariest thing in everybody's.
Right. These guys are not roommates per se. They're in a unit.
Since his arrest, Combs has been denied bail 4 times, with judges citing concerns over potential witness tampering.
Disgraced hip-hop mogul Sean Diddy Combs back in court today. The rapper appearing in a beige smock and pants for his pretrial hearing. Federal prosecutors are saying that they were on track to disclose all of the available evidence to the defense by the end of the year. Well, Diddy has been held at the Metropolitan Detention Center in Brooklyn following his arrest in September in a federal trafficking case. Last week, Combs abandoned what was his 4th attempt to get released on bail.
We are monitoring Sean P. Diddy Combs in court. He has pled not guilty, and the prosecutor is arguing that he should be held in jail. He should not be released on bail because he's reached out to witnesses and victims, and some witnesses say they are scared of him. This is according to the prosecutor. They're saying that he's reached out to some victims. The Assistant U.S. Attorney Emily Johnson is the one making this argument to the judge. She says that he's reached out to some victims.
According to Stephen A. Smith, prosecutors are pushing hard to see Diddy behind bars due to serious charges. Smith highlighted the gravity of the situation, noting the case's far-reaching implications for the music industry and beyond.
When you look at P. Diddy, it almost seems clear. It's not just him thereafter. These are RICO charges. It's an indictment. It's Homeland Security. Homes raided in Los Angeles and Miami. Computers and laptops and iPads and phones and surveillance videos and stuff like that. Confiscated. They did that in May. You're talking about months later, and here they come with this indictment, and they're trying to make it so today, as we're taping this show, if prosecutors have their druthers, they're trying to make today his last day of freedom in his life. That's what they're trying to do. They want him behind bars today. Not next week, not next month, not when the trial begins and he's found guilty by a jury of his peers in their eyes. No. They want him in jail now. This is the level of urgency that they're attaching to them.
He expressed concern that this may be the start of a larger crackdown, suggesting that many others in Hollywood and the music industry could be implicated.
You know why they're doing that? Because it's a glimpse of what's coming. There's a whole bunch of names. Y'all guess it. I ain't gonna put out no polls. I'm not gonna put a poll out there and ask you and give you names and multiple choice. I'm not doing that to other human beings. Only reason I read Kevin Lyle's name is because of the TMZ report that's plastered all over the news right now. It's the only reason I read the name. I'm not mentioning anybody's name. But what they're saying is that's the first domino. That's what they're saying. That's the implication. That's what's going on. Think about the parties at his home. Think about the artists. Puffy, P. Diddy, Sean P. Diddy Combs, Sean Diddy Combs. Think about the artist he's represented, who's worked under his label. Go ahead and do your own homework. Think about the people an inordinate amount of people he's been seen with.
Diddy's legal team argues that the poor prison conditions are hindering his ability to prepare for his trial, set for May 5, 2025. Despite maintaining his innocence, the severity of the charges means he could face life in prison if convicted.
His lawyers had offered that made her feel comfortable that he would return to this courthouse for subsequent court hearings and for a trial. She said that it was both his substance abuse and the fact that some of this physical abuse that's been alleged occurred when he was using drugs and alcohol, that was a reason why she couldn't trust that he would not commit any additional crimes while he was left on bail. So Sean Diddy Combs is not going to be walking out this door. He is in federal custody where he will be unless his lawyers are able to convince a different judge.
Well, Sean Combs still behind bars as we speak after a judge denied his request for bail a second time. And the place where he's locked up now getting a lot of attention. The Metropolitan Detention Center, the only federal jail in New York City, is known for violence, poor conditions, and a string of celebrity detainees. And Diddy's attorneys want him.
Combs' incarceration has also impacted his personal life. While he has seen his children during court hearings, which lifts his spirits, the separation from his family during significant times like the holiday season has caused emotional distress.
Now, when Christian and Justin came inside that courtroom, they were actually sitting just right across from me over on the left side of the gallery. So what I was seeing from both of his sons was a little bit of leg shaking, what I perceived to be a little prayer right before the hearing had actually started as well too. But again, I think their focus was maintaining a good face for their father, being supportive of their father, which you expect at this point because they've attended pretty much all of the hearings so far with the exception of that emergency hearing that happened, I believe, back in October.
The past 3 months have been transformative for Sean Diddy Combs, with noticeable physical and psychological changes due to the stark contrast between his previous lifestyle and current circumstances. As he awaits his trial in May 2025, the ongoing challenges of prison life continue to affect his well-being, offering a glimpse into the profound impact of incarceration on those accustomed to lives of affluence and freedom.
Well, we now know Diddy's trial date is set for May 5th of next year. Sean Combs, the disgraced music mogul, was in court this afternoon facing the judge who will preside over his federal sex trafficking case.
He's doing fine. He's making an adjustment. He had his family here today to support him. We really want to put an end to all of the clowning that we see on the internet. This is a serious proceeding with serious consequences.
So Combs' legal team speaking outside the federal courthouse in New York City today. The judge also set deadlines for lawyers on each side of the aisle, really, to submit arguments that will establish boundaries for the trial.
Diddy is facing charges related to a criminal enterprise involving trafficking and other serious offenses. Legal experts have pointed out the parallels between his case and others, emphasizing the ongoing scrutiny of high-profile figures in the entertainment industry.
I thought that was going to be my last question, but you did bring up R. Kelly, and I got to ask this. Precedence does matter. And when we see even though that was a different situation, different case, when we see what ultimately happened with him, he's going to be serving about 30 years in jail. He's in the midst of serving about 30 years in jail. How much, if at all, does that play a role in the likelihood of a mountain of legal matters just coming down on him like a tsunami in light of what happened with R. Kelly?
It plays a big role, I think, in terms of how people are responding. Those billionaires, those buddies of his that used to party with him, I think folks are making sure they keep their distance because of what did happen with R. Kelly.
She got it. She hit the nail right on the head. I think everyone is keeping their distance. Everyone is staying away from him. Everybody with Stevie J seemed like they distance themselves from him. Now you could completely see that going on right now. Even the other day, we seen LeBron James unfollowed him, and we seen videos of LeBron James been saying there's no party like a P. Diddy party, and now you unfollow him.
Now you unfollow him. It's like the 48 Laws of Paris on number 5. Reputation's everything.
Yeah,
so you gotta stay clear.
What do you think of Diddy's experience behind bars and the impact it's having on him? Should his requests for medical attention and better treatment be considered? Share your thoughts in the comments below.